So hey hello, welcome to Science Books Review. In this video, I want to list down all my expectations from the Memory of Light book, which is the 14th and the final book of the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. And I want to predict how the ending of this Wheel of Time series is going to be and how the characters are going to be summed up at the very end of the series. So this video is going to be really very short. So without further ado, let's get into the video. And before getting into that, I do want to mention how I do feel upon getting into this final book of the series. And I have been reading Wheel of Time series for nearly 18 months by now. And I just started to read this one in way back in March 2023. And I'm not saying I have been reading only Wheel of Time series in all this time. I do pretty much tried all the books of Joe Abercrombie in this time period. But still, Wheel of Time does constitute a big chunk of time here, and there is some kind of anxiety does started to hit me, and I just started to feel like I'm not actually ready to read this series right now. And Wheel of Time series is not actually a pleasant experience for me at all. There are a lot of time I do wanted to quit the series, and I do wanted to try some of the Brandon Sanderson books in the Cosmic world and other books of John Gwen, but still I do kept on moving in the series. There are two driving forces which does manage me to do that. The first thing is actually the YouTube platform, and before I do started my YouTube channel, I do wanted to talk about all these books to my friends, but unfortunately none of my friends are actually readers, so I do started to talk to myself. So in order to get relieved of this stress, I do wanted to start up this YouTube channel so that I can actually, in some way, hope I can able to push these books to some of the Indian audience so that they can also able to enjoy the series. So yeah, that is the first case which does get me moving on with the series. And the second thing actually is the Memory of Light book. And I have watched all the booktubers review on this Memory of Light, and everyone does mention that Memory of Light is a somewhat does have a perfect ending to the fantasy series, and none of them actually does object to that. So that does raised my spirits. So yes, the ending of the series is going to be awesome. So let's keep pushing on the series so that we can be able to get to the good part. So yeah, these are the two things which does get me moving on here. And actually I do get to the very end, and I don't know whether I am happy or sad or just and for sure I can able to say that anxiety just started to hit me right now. And so yeah, let's get into the expectation list. First of all, let us talk about the reunion, and the first thing I do expect from the Memory of Light book here is I do want the female trio to get into and same mission together once more. I mentioned Nynaeve, Elaine, and Egwene as the female trio, and they three together involved in the mission of chasing after the Black Sister way back in the book 3 of the Wheel of Time series, The Dragon Reborn. And after that, they do meet in the Lord of Chaos, and they do often meet in the World of Dream. But they three involved in the mission together does they three does complement each other characters really very well, and it is really very fun to read the interaction between all these characters. Way back then, Nynaeve has been the most senior character of that group, and Egwene and Elaine's actions does constantly frustrated her, and I do love to read about all these things. So yes, if Brandon Sanderson doesn't manage to give them the same task, I would be really very happy about that. Some kind of nostalgia aspect also involved in here, and this is not pretty much going to happen because all three are does have very big role to play in the Armageddon battle, right? Having seeing the three of them together is not gonna happen. But if Brandon Sanderson does manage to do that, I would be really very happy. And the next thing, obvious one is Rand, Perrin, and Matt. And I do want to have an interaction between all these characters together in the tent. Even it is just 2 to 3 pages, I would be really very happy about that. They three actually work really very well individually, but I do love the three combination in the Great Hunt book. After that, yes, by the very start of the Shadow Rising book, all three characters together being there in a tier, but we did actually manage to get a three-way interaction, right? We do manage to get one-to-one interaction between the two of these characters, but all three doesn't get involved in a conversation. So I do want to read a thing where all three does involved in a scene together and discussing upon the plot line or the war Tormund battle. So yes, this is also a pure nostalgic aspect. I do think Brandon Sanderson can be able to manage to do the same. And the next thing is I do want some of the mm, non-major characters to play a big role in the Armageddon battle. The notable thing which I do want to mention here is Min and Moraine got a need to play a really very big role out there. Of all the series which I have read till now, and Wheel of Time does handle the foretelling aspect really very nice way. We have seen Ricky in the Age of Man Astrology by Joe Abercrombie and Alicent in the Twilight Saga by Stephanie Meyer. All these characters does have a foretelling aspect, but I can't actually love on the foretelling aspect in those series where the it does appear to be like an plot armor to all these characters, so that doesn't excite me. And here means foretelling is somewhat handled in a really very good way. We can't expect really much things about from her, yeah, but still her viewing are really very powerful, and this does have an high possibility to happen. So I do want a Min to play a really very big role in the Armageddon battle, and Moraine got a need to play a really very 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 big role out there. Her life does a constituted Noon's life and match one eye, so that is a big payoff right there. So she does have already two questions being answered by the Elfin. So how those two answers are going to help Rand and the world in the Armageddon battle is going to be really very interesting to read. And if it is not going to be interesting, I think Brandon Sanderson is a failed in his job in the final book of the series. So yeah, Brandon Sanderson got to need to be really very careful out there. And the next thing is, I do want Brandon Sanderson to straight away get into the action sequence without any slow burning or slow start to the book. And we have been there in the 14th book of the series. I don't think there will be any need of introduction to all these characters or introduction to all the some of these conflicts out there. And I do want all the Forsakens to be involved really very well in this book, and I do want all these characters to actually be there in the book from the very start of the page one itself. And Forsaken characters are really very interesting to read. And Brandon Sanderson and Robert Jordan both didn't give much importance to all these characters, in my opinion. So, yeah, hope Brandon Sanderson won't miss all these characters in the very end. And the last thing is just my personal preference. I do want an all was well type of ending here, as a typical Harry Potter type of ending. And I have been reading all the books of Joe Abercrombie, and every ending doesn't felt like an ending at all. And every characters being there in a really very miserable situation compared to the very start of each book. But still, Joe Abercrombie is been dealing with that kind of world. But Wheel of Time series is all about hopes, right? So I have been reading the series for a very long time, and 14 book series. So if things are going to fail at the very end, I will be literally mad by the very end of the series. So yeah, I do want things to happen really very smoother way. I'm not expecting all the characters to survive and are going to lead the people to the destiny they are designed for, but I just want Rand to defeat the Dark One, and I do want Rand to kill all the Forsaken characters too, so that we can actually get the purpose being actually accomplished here. It's just my personal preference. Many would feel like you can't expect the ending like that to an epic series like Wheel of Time, but yes, some kind of a silly thought of me. So if you do beg to differ in my opinion, yes, you are thoroughly welcomed here. And yeah, that's all the expectation I do want to list down. And there are some prediction which I do want to make. And way back in the halfway checkpoint book, where I do give a spoiler talk on the first seven Wheel of Time series book, where I do mention that Gon is going to die and Egwene is going to end up with the Galad. And yes, that still does have a high possibility to happen. By the a lot of Chaos book, Egwene does have Dream in the World of Dream, where she does found that Galar to be more attractive than Gon. So I don't know how that influence is going to impact this structure, but yes, there is something about that, right? So yeah, let's wait and see how Egwene's characters are going to turn around by the very end. And I do want Nynaeve to go back to the Aemon's field by the very end of the series. And this is just my personal preference. I do want any some of these characters to go to the two rivers at the very end, so that it does ends up where it actually started. So it would be a really very good nostalgia aspect, but that is not an high possibility to happen, because if Lan does manage to survive that Armageddon battle, then he's going to rule the Malkir Empire with the Nynaeve by her side. And Nynaeve does have a huge role in the White Tower too, but still, I do want an I need to go out to the two rivers, so it would be all end well out there. So yeah, let's wait and see how her character going to be turned around. And I'm not expecting anything from Matt Gotham, to be honest. And it's really very tough to sum up Matt Cawthon character here, right? Whatever his decision is going to be like, we readers are not going to be satisfied with his character. I do think so. I can't able to judge an ending to his character at all. So yeah, let's wait and see. It's a really very complicated situation Brandon Sanderson actually been in, and so yeah, and a big task for him out there. And Rand and Perrin are going to die by the very end. Rand Rand has been a design to his death right, way back in the Fires of Heaven book itself, right? We do know he is going to die in the Armageddon battle, so that won't come as a surprise. And but yes, how his death is going to happen, that's a huge task out there. Maybe he's going to kill one of his lovers, just like Louis Therin killed Eliana by the very start of this book. And yes, there is some high possibility this event is going to happen. So yeah, but yes, Rand won't lose his sanity by the very end. So hope Rand would defeat the Dark One and would attain his destiny before attain his death. And Perrin's death is a came of a surprise here. It is actually Maureen who does actually mentioned in the Towers of Midnight book that one of the Forsaken is actually killed, going to kill Perrin by the very end. And Min's viewing in the Dragon Reborn book does mention that one of the female Forsaken is going to kill Perrin with all these inferences. So who is going to be like? I do first thought this is going to be Fael, and I do thought then Ariana is going to be, and then I do thought Grandal is going to be, and I don't think Grandal is would be given the task to deal with Perrin's character after her failure, which does took place by the very end of the Towers of Midnight. So some of the other Forsaken is going to take that role. Maybe Mughadeen, she's been really very good in the world of Dream, but I don't think Lanfear is going to play a huge role in Perrin's plot. So yeah, let's wait and see. Perrin is going to deal with the Slayer too. So that is a really very big thing is going to happen. Perrin's plot is going to be actually really very interesting to read at the very end. So yeah, hope everything would end well. Even if Perrin and Brand are going to die at the very end, I I can able to accept that. That is more pretty much emotional connections. But I do want Brand to actually kill all the Forsaken and defeat the Dark One at the very end. So that's all I do wanted to list down here. So hope this book would be really very good, and it would be better than the Gathering Storm book. I do really love the Gathering Storm book, which is the first book of the Brandon Sanderson in the Wheel of Time series. So let's wait and see. Things would. I have heard this series does have a really very good ending. Hope I won't get disappointed at the very end. So yeah, I will post the Memory of Light book review pretty quick enough. So until then, tata bye bye. I will meet you soon in the Memory of Light book review. So until then, happy reading to you all. Meet you soon enough. Bye.